Alrighty, folks, coming at you today with something that is kind of like a tier list, but it's really more of a discussion of the meta and what we've been seeing as far as hero pick rates and hero win rates. If you go on Ometa City /heroes, you can see all the heroes pick rates and win rates across standard, ranked, and all the specific ranks. So I've pulled those up off to the side here, and we are going to go through a new tier list. It's not going to be very opinion based. It's going to be pretty much just based in the facts of what are the heroes' win rates and pick rates right now. So let's show you guys how I've got it organized, and we'll quickly show you the tier list that we made last time for version 1.2 after we updated it to you guys' community input, and then we'll get right into filling this out. So the way I've got this tier list organized and the way we're going to break it down here is I've got most common bans. So these are the heroes that we're seeing banned a lot. Predecessor or Ometa City does not keep track of the bans. It just keeps track of the heroes that are played. So obviously the heroes that are getting banned the most are going to have a lower pick rate because it's not taking that into account. But these are the heroes that we've been seeing most commonly banned. Then next, we've got the category which I've titled Played a Lot and Should Be. This is going to be for the heroes that have a high win rate and high pick rate. These are the heroes that you're seeing not get banned at the highest echelon, but they're getting picked a lot. So that doesn't mean that they're not good or they're not ban worthy. It's just some heroes people aren't, they aren't inconvenient enough to play against to where they're going to get banned. So people are just going to let them through and let them get played. They'd rather ban some of the more annoying heroes. But these are heroes with a high win rate and a high pick rate. Next, we've got should be played more. This is pretty straightforward. This is heroes that have a lower pick rate, but when they are picked, do win a lot of games. So low pick rate, high win rate type heroes. And then here in the bottom category, we have should be played less. So this is heroes that are being picked frequently, but have a kind of poor relative win rate. So I'm not going to let opinion sway me much, if at all, on this list. This is going to be straight pick rates, win rates. We're looking at specifically platinum ranked games. I could have done this for gold games, or could have done it for diamond games and paragon games, and it would be a little different because some of those win rates are very different. But I think plat is a good medium ground. It's pretty similar to the gold win rate and pick rates, but it's just a couple heroes that are kind of more coming into the meta. If we would have gone up to something like Paragon tier, you would see a ridiculous amount of differences in the pick rates and win rates. So let's go through here. First, I'll show you guys and put it up on the screen here the previous tier list that we did for version 1.2 after we updated it from the community update. You can see we had Bellica in broken tier, we had Yin Kalari Wraith in the one trick tier, and then we had a nice distribution of A+ and A-. A lot of heroes are really balanced right now, so it just is what it is. There's not too many that I say are not worth picking. Rarely get good value tier. You know, we've got Kira, Grim, Shinbi, Rampage, FaZe. I definitely still agree with all that, although we are seeing Kira played quite a lot, sometimes to good success. You know, and then the top of the A+ tier, you've got the standard, you know, Decker, Aurora, Murdoch, Faye, Argus, these heroes that you're probably seeing have a big impact in a lot of your games, as well as some heroes like Zinx, you know, Richter, who you're probably seeing banned a lot of games. So we're going to go through it. That's the actual tier list based on my opinion of how good the heroes are. This tier list is based off of win rates and pick rates, so not my opinion, just the facts. If you want to look up these heroes, I'll put a link in the description as well to the Ometa City Heroes page where you can view all these statistics. You can see more than just win rates and pick rates. You can see all sorts of stuff on there. So check that out. Go to look at your rank specifically if you'd like, or look at the rank above yours if you want to see what heroes you should be practicing with to move up to the next rank. But let's get right into it here and order the heroes. We're going to go based off of their actual pick rate. So we're going to start with the highest pick rate and work our way down to the bottom here. So first off, highest pick rate and one of the highest win rates as well is Murdoch. He's played a lot and he should be. You're probably never going to see him banned, but clearly the most dominant carry right now. He's picked in 66% of plat games, which is just absurd. The highest pick rate by over 20%. You're seeing both teams fight for Murdoch in the draft phase most of the time, so that's no surprise, I don't think, to you guys. Next highest pick rate in plat is actually Grux. You guys know my opinion on Grux. This is a trash hero. Do not play this hero if you have any respect for yourself. If you want a free pass to win solo lane, then play him. He is going to pretty much win solo lane every time because his bleed is so overpowered. Unfortunately, he also has a good win rate, so we have to put him in played a lot and should be. You guys know I just hate playing against Grux. He's not a hero that they have a lot of counters. Easy to counter, mirror or picks against him. It's just not ideal. Obviously, you could pick Shinbi into him, or you could pick, somebody into him who wants to space off and stand back. But, you guys know how I feel about Grux. And Grux players. No offense, Grux players, but play somebody else. Next highest pick rate is a tie between Chimera and Decker. Chimera is played a lot and does have a high win rate. He probably should be played as much as he is. I just have never really been able to find too much success with him, but, I know he is good and does provide a lot to the team, so he deserves to be up here. Now, Decker, she's played a lot and should be, but does not have an exceptionally high win rate. I don't know if that's because there's so many other good supports that people are winning more games with right now, or if it's a situation where people are picking Decker in off lane, or not like off lane specifically, but like off meta roles, like out of support. I don't know if people are trying to play her mid still or what, but in plat actually only has a 47% win rate. And since we're just doing this by the numbers, you guys can go ahead and complain, but I'm going to say should be played less. Even though I would agree, I would definitely argue that Decker is played at a perfect amount right now. She just, for some reason, does not have the win rate to support that. Next up on the pick rate is Steel at 39% pick rate. He's a very common ban. He would probably have a much higher pick rate if he got through the ban phase more, but he does not get through the ban phase as often as any of these heroes that we've seen so far, so definitely a frequent ban. Next up in pick rate is Bellica. Where's Lieutenant Bellica? I vote to ban her every time, but usually does not. She doesn't actually become one of the heroes that are banned. She does have a high win rate. We're going to put her in the most common bans, even if the most common bans is kind of a long tier. I vote for her to be banned every time, and she does get banned a fair amount of the time. So next up in pick rates is Countess. She is getting picked quite a lot, but she's also getting banned quite a lot, especially the last couple days. I've been seeing Countess banned in a lot of games. I think people just don't want to play against her. I get it, she is annoying, but, what are you going to do? You can't really, if they nerf her too much more or nerf too many more of the items that she's using, she's going to fall way out of the meta, so don't want to see that. I think she's okay, it's just she is a frequent ban right now. Greystone. Now, Greystone has a pretty high pick rate and surprisingly not a very high win rate. So we're going to put him in should be played less. I get it. He doesn't have hard CC or interrupt. He's more of a nuisance type hero or rundown hero than he is a great team fighter, even though he is a great frontliner with his ult and everything. Just does not have a win rate that should support how much he's being picked right now. Faye is the next up on the pick rate list. And she also has an exceptionally high win rate, which we understand. Faye is, offers a lot to the team, does an absurd amount of damage. We had a game the other day, a ranked game the other day, where she was top damage on the enemy team, and she just basically carried them through all the team fights with crazy amount of cooldowns and spamming her ult out and stuff. Really strong hero. I don't think anybody would debate that right now. You won't see her banned, but you will see her played quite a bit. Now, next up in pick rates is actually Kira. Kira, I'm still not a fan of. I know a lot of people have been playing her more. Some people have been finding good success with her. Her ult still is just not something that can compete with the caliber of ults that some of the other carries bring, like Twin Blast ults, Murdoch ults, even Drongo ults or Grim ults are often more impactful than a Kira ult, but she is pretty decent in lane, especially if she's got a support with her that's paying attention. She can do a lot of damage, pressure people down easy, and run them down easy, so unfortunately she does not have a good win rate right now for whatever reason in Plat. It may be different in some of the other ranks like Gold, but she does not have a win rate right now that would support her being played as much as she is, especially one of the top played carries. I don't see that being, necessary. Next up in pick rates is Richter, and Richter you are going to see banned a lot. Nobody wants to play against a Richter right now. The only time you're not seeing a Richter banned pretty much is if one team has an early pick that they're planning on using on him. Rarely does he make it through both the ban phase and the pick phase without him appearing. He's just... Even if you're banned with Richter, you could hit one pull late game and decide the game, so frequently banned for a reason. Morgesh, if there was a tier below should be played less, that's where Morgesh would go for me. I'm not a fan of her at all. I'm a fan of playing her because she's super easy to play, but I'm not a fan of having her on my team because it's just a pure damage type hero. Yes, I've seen her win solo lane. Yes, I've seen Morgesh's win at support. Don't get mad at me, guys, for not having a high opinion of Morgesh. It's just what she offers versus what a Faye or Argus offers, or even a Howie, or even an Iggy. I don't prefer to have what she offers to the team, but she does have a high win rate right now and a pretty high pick rate, so we're going to drop her in played a lot and should be. Like I said, I'm not going to let my personal bias sway this list. This is based off of the data. But you're just not a fan of her. I would take Faye over her 9 times out of 10 on my team as my mid laner, Next up in pick rates is Drongo. Drongo actually has surprisingly a only 49% win rate. I guess that's not too low. That is kind of like understandable. He is played a lot, being one of the top 3 most played carries, and I think he should be. When you look at his competition between Murdoch, Kira, Twin Blast, Grim, and stuff like that, Drongo just offers a lot with a silence, with a mobility from his ult, with a great clear from Boomerang. Only a 49% win rate, but that's probably understandable with how often he's picked. Crunch is up next, and Crunch actually has a fairly high pick rate, but realistically he should probably be played more because he has a great win rate in Plat. I don't think the nerfs hurt him too much. They were nerfs, they for sure were nerfs, but he's still very viable. Especially if you're already used to how to chain his abilities together, you can still get great value out of him. Great mobility, great CC lockdown, can catch people out, can get away fast. So I think he should be played more. I would much rather see my team either at solo or jungle pick a Crunch and be good with him over pick a Grux who just plays the game for you and gives you a free lead in solo lane and just doesn't help you develop as a player any. I think if you develop as a player with Crunch, you're going to have much better longevity in how much he can impact your games. Zinx is up next in pick rate, and we're kind of getting to that category where played a lot is not fitting because Zinx is banned quite a bit. Nobody wants to deal with having an enemy team with a Zinx who can revive their carry in clutch situations. I know I've played with a lot of guys frequently that vote for Zinx to be banned every time, and I get it. I like playing Zinx when she's not banned, but she does have a very high win rate right now, so when she does make it through the ban phase and your team's able to pick her, you're winning the games more often than not. Huge win rate right now at 54% is kind of surprising. Next up is Seraph. for pick rates. And Seraph is quite good. She does not have a high win rate. We almost need another category here for kind of like where they should be, right? Not should be played less or should be played more, but kind of just played an appropriate amount. But we'll keep it rolling. She does not have a great win rate, and you're never going to see her banned, but she does run down a lot of heroes, very similar to what Greystone offers. I don't want to say that she should be played less, but based off her win rate and her pick rate right now, that's really where she falls. I mean, picked in 26% of games and only winning 48%. I know that's very close to 50, but there's a lot of heroes that have more than a 50% win rate. So we're going to put her in should be played less just from a numbers standpoint. It's kind of where she belongs. For Plat, at least, I'm sure at higher ranks, she's even harder to deal with when you're really good with her or you're communicating with your team more. But based off her win rate, that's where she belongs. So next up is Aurora. And based off of her really low win rate, this is where she belongs. 43% win rate is quite low. Anything that far away from 50% or that far below 50% is kind of surprising. You're not seeing a lot of heroes with that low of a win rate. I think Aurora is quite good. She does offer a lot to the team, but I guess she's just not winning a lot of games. She is getting picked quite a lot, but just not winning a lot of games. So we're going to put her in should be played less. It's just where she has to fall. Next up is Sparrow, and Sparrow has an absurdly high win rate. Definitely enough to earn her the should be played more tier. For how much she is getting played, you're not seeing her picked nearly as much as Murdoch, Drongo, Kira, but she is winning a large portion of her games when she is picked, so she's really got to be up here. Argus. Argus is already not played super frequently, so putting him in should be played less is not very fitting, but he does have a quite low win rate for some reason in Plat, so it's where he's got to fall. I'm a fan of Argus. I like what he offers to the team generally more than I like out of a Morgesh or, a Gadget or a lot of other mid laners. And he can do very well at support as well. So should be played less is where he's going to have to fall based off of his win rate. But I'm a fan of Argus. So, I mean, don't take that personally, Argus players. Twin is up next in pick rates. And he is played a lot and probably should be, but his win rate does not indicate that. He has the same... Okay, cat, really? Okay. He has the same win rate as Argus. So we're going to put him in should be played less, just because you really shouldn't have a 45% win rate and me recommend you to play them more. It's just how it is. Like I said, these aren't even recommendations. This is just straight from... Okay, baby, you need it. Can we move? Thank you. This is just how it is from the numbers standpoint. I mean, obviously you saw my last tier list, and it definitely does not look anything like this. So it's just where Twin has to fall. Next up in pick rate is Shinbi. Now Shinbi, I again do not like seeing Shinbi ever picked on my team. One thing you have to keep in mind with these pick rates versus win rates is when these pick rates get kind of low, like they have gotten now, just all these heroes left have the lower pick rates, the people who are picking them are probably better with them and they're going to be able to win more games with them. Plus there's a smaller sample size of total games that they're being picked in, which gives them a better potential for a higher win rate. So Shinbi, unfortunately, based off of a win rate standpoint, should be played more. There must just be a lot of good Shinbi players out there, and she does counter a lot of the meta solo laner picks right now somewhat by via her spacing and how much her damage she does with the Line Wolf now. So we got to put her in should be played more based off of win rate alone. Gideon, I think played a lot and should be is the most appropriate tier for him. I guess actually should be played more is probably more accurate because you're not seeing him in every game, but he is very much back in the meta now. Since the buffs that he got, he does absurd damage, still great safety with the teleport. The amount of like Zaruses and Decker cages and stuff that you're seeing really makes a teleport like that valuable. So should be played more. Has a great win rate in plat, and I like to see him on my team. Usually gives me pretty good confidence on what we're working with. FaZe is actually next up, and she should definitely be played less. You guys probably knew that without even discussing her pick rates and win rates. FaZe just doesn't offer to your team what a lot of the other supports offer right now. Yes, she has a long-range root that can let your carry close the gap and blow somebody up. Yeah. She can hit her ult and make your carry do an absurd amount of damage and all that stuff, but just does not have a win rate to support being picked over these more frequently banned supports. A lot of supports are getting banned right now. It's just the current meta. People want to take these game-changing supports off the board rather than, and then they would much rather deal with the FaZe rather than having to deal with a Richter or a Zinx or a Steel or Belica support. So that's where she falls. Next up in pick rate is Iggy, and Iggy should 100% be played more. Very high win rate for plat. Great zoning, great objective secure. Not picked very much. We're getting kind of into that 20% pick rate tier now, and great win rate for Iggy. So, I mean, Iggy consistently a good pick, I would say. Hard to go wrong with Iggy. I've played him effectively in every role except for carry, so including jungle. So give Iggy a try if you're not an Iggy fan for sure. Next up in pick rate is Quang, and Quang should be played more. I think you guys probably could deduce that based off of what you've been seeing, even without examining win rates and pick rates. Quang has always been very decent, very good to play. The tether offers a lot to the team. Good tankiness and mitigation with the shielding. Good CC all around his kit. I mean, he has the win rate to support it, and he is a good hero. I'm a fan of Quang, even though if I don't play him very much. Next up is Yen, which at the higher ranks is absolutely broken win rate wise. Very high win rates in like Diamond and Paragon and stuff like that. But in plat, just kind of middle of the road, I would say she probably should be played more, because if you do get good with Yen, you can get very successful games with her. Takes a little bit to get good with her, but it is what it is. She has the win rate to support being picked more, so should be played more. Rev, unfortunately, does not have a very good win rate right now in plat. He's also not getting picked very much, which is a bad sign when you're not getting picked much and you have a low win rate. It's not a good sign that you're somebody who should be played. Have I seen Revs carry my games? Yes. Have my teams been dominated by Revs before? Yes, but and does he fit the meta right now? Yeah, relatively he does fit the meta pretty good, but would I rather play Drongo or Murdoch? Me personally, yes, 100% of the time. Would I rather see a Revenant on my team than a Sparrow? Probably pretty similar on which one I'd prefer to see on my team. So we got to put him in that should be played less just because he doesn't have the win rate to support being played more. Skylar, same tier. I thought these buffs were going to help her more, but she just does not have a great win rate since version 1.2 has come out. I need to try her more and play with her more for sure, because I think there is a lot of potential in Skylar, but you do have a lot of competition. Right now, assuming Murdoch is just the clear-cut number one, everyone else is kind of vying for a number 2 slot, you know. But Skylar, if you're good with her, you could play her and get good value. Her win rate does not look great right now. Feng Mao, it's hard to put these heroes in these should be played less tier. Like I said, there really should be another tier of probably infrequently played and should be infrequently played, because these are heroes with a low pick rate at this point and also a low win rate. But it is what it is. Feng Mao, you would think maybe would have a higher win rate, but just does not. He's okay. He offers a lot. Great mobility, great rundown, similar to like Seraph and Greystone. It's just, I guess those mobility rundown heroes don't come with a great win rate right now in the meta. So it is, just something you've got to work around. Of course, there's a lot of people that are great with Feng Mao and they get great value out of him, but his overall win rate does not support that. Howie. Howie should definitely be played more, has a good win rate, is very impactful in games, can definitely swing games around either from mid. We played against one the other day in ranked in solo lane that was absolutely brutal. We played against them as support that actually just sucks to play against a Howie support. But the win rate does back Howie being played more. These are, like I said, we're getting down to these heroes that have a very small pick rate. We're getting into that 15% pick rate category, and Howie can definitely perform just as well as a Faye or Morgesh or any of those if you're good with them. Just takes a little bit of practice, so definitely pick Howie more. Terra is up next. Really bad win rate and really low pick rate. We're getting down to those type heroes, so unfortunately we have to put her in should be played less, even though she's, her and the rest of these heroes are not played frequently right now. She's just got nerfed into the ground. I mean, you guys remember what Terra was like on release. It was absolutely insane. It was fun to play. You could play her anywhere. You could play her support, jungle, solo comfortably. And now it's just like, it's okay. She does counter a lot in this meta and can be a great tank for your team, but just how many nerfs does she need to get? It's kind of absurd at this point. Next up is Zarus. If I was voting these based off of my personal opinion, obviously Zarus should be played more because he's so easy to play and so easy to get good value with. But unfortunately, he has just as low a win rate as Terra, which is pretty crazy because I feel like Zarus usually helps me win games, so it is up to the user, but his win rate is really poor right now at 42% and a 15% pick rate, so should be played less from a number standpoint on average. Next up, pick rate wise, is Sevrog, who again has a really low win rate. I don't know, I know damage is in the meta, and Sevrog isn't the big damage dealer that you would usually see come out of jungle, or at least a bruiser type. He's more of like the full tank type usually, depending on how you build him. We did build him Prophecy the other day, and it was pretty fun, but it just has a really poor win rate right now for whatever reason, so I can't recommend him being played more if his win rate is that low on average already with such a small pick rate. Next up is Muriel, who definitely should be played more. One of the higher win rates in the game at 54%, and she's being picked very little. I usually have good success with Muriel. I've been a fan generally of having Muriels on my team in the most recent patches. It's just they've got to hit their autos, basically, is what it comes down to. Muriel is very damage-based support. You can play her effectively in solo lane if you have got some practice with her and know how you're going to build her, but should be played more. I mean, these heroes down here have really low pick rates and good win rate for her, so I'll give her that. Rampage is up next pick rate wise, and also has a nice positive win rate, so that would lead me to think he should be played more. He doesn't exactly fit too much of the meta right now, with damage being more in, but he is very survivable when that damage is coming out onto him. You can build Razorback and build full tank and stand in the team fight and throw a lot of damage back on people, so I'll give it to him. If he's got that level of win rate, he deserves to be picked more. Now, not to go ahead and spoil it, but you see these last 5 here, they all have incredibly low pick rates and incredibly low win rates. So we're just going to throw them all in the should be played less tier. Like I said, it's not very appropriately named because these heroes are already played very little, but not one of them gets over 44% win rate, and that is Gadget. There just is strong competition in all of these roles. I mean, I'm a fan of Narbash. If any of these, I would say Narbash and Gadget are the most viable. Obviously, I've had games where Wraith works me, but it's more games where Wraith does poorly than goes off. Grim, same deal. You can have games where Grim carries, but there's, especially from a numbers standpoint, as we're looking at the win rates, there's more games where Grim does not carry than Grim carries, so it is what it is. Kalori did benefit pretty good from the mid-game buffs that she got. Still can't really recommend her over many junglers that have hard CC, because that's kind of what you're looking for right now, is hard CC and setup for your team to follow up on. But Kallari does not have that. Kallari can still be very good, dependent on your team comp if you already have plenty of CC, but if you don't, I definitely would not pick her. So that's going to do it for this tier list, guys. Like I said, this is not based off my opinion at all. I would not order a tier list like this. I would not give you the should be played more opinion for some of these heroes like Shinbi. I would never tell you to play more Shinbi. And like Rampage is really hit or miss. And then should be played less. I would never tell you to play less Decker, play less, Seraph, Aurora, Argus, Twin even, Zarus. Geez, I would never tell you to play less Zarus, Sev. But just from a pick rate and win rate standpoint in Plat, which like I said, go to the description below, MetaCity/Heroes, you can see for your rank all the pick rates and win rates of every hero, as well as a bunch of other stats, so check those out. For the given pick rates and win rates, this is where we're at. This is what we're seeing. The numbers can only lie so much, the analysis of the numbers are in the eye of the beholder. But this is my analysis. Like I said, we would have been better to have another tier here to put some of these heroes that have a low pick rate and a low win rate, because those heroes shouldn't be played less. Well, I guess they should be because they're not winning games, but they're already played rarely, so it's not a big deal. Versus these heroes that are played a lot and should be, I would never tell you to play Grux more, I would never tell you to play Morgash more, but they're the heroes with high win rates. So what are you going to do? You can argue with the numbers and they won't argue back. So thanks for watching, guys, and coming to check out the tier list. Come check out the streams. Come talk about what heroes you like to play the most. Like I said, I'll put it up on the screen here one more time. The actual tier list, the version 1.2 tier list that we did following you guys' comments on the original version 1.2 tier list. So this is the actual tier list that we put together first myself, and then we edited it as a community with you guys' comments. So let me know what you think. Go check out this video itself, and you can leave comments on this video, because this was more opinion based on where you think these heroes should be adjusted around, because I can understand that. We can talk about opinions all day long, but going back to this, argue with the numbers if you want. You're not arguing with me. Go pull up a MetaCity and check these out for yourselves. As of December the 17th in Plat tier, this is what we're looking at. So thanks for watching, guys. Come check out the streams. Like I said, we've been having a great time running ranked, queuing with some viewers and stuff like that. And we will catch y'all in the next video.